A werewolf romance written by Georgina Anderson. Prologue. The night the palace burned. They say royal blood smells different. Sweeter. Richer. Like honey mixed with old magic and silver moonlight. I never believed it until the night assassins stormed the palace and I watched my parents die. My name is Seraphina Silvercrest, first daughter of the High Moon Pack, heir to the 6 territories, and the last surviving member of the royal bloodline, or at least I was. Now I'm just Sarah. No last name, no pack, no past. The attack happened on my 18th birthday. We were celebrating in the Great Hall. Hundreds of pack members, allied alphas, the traditional moonrise ceremony where I would be formally presented as heir. I remember my mother's hand in mine as we walked onto the balcony. I remember my father's proud smile. I remember the first arrow that struck him through the heart. Then chaos, fire, screaming, the metallic scent of blood mixing with smoke. My mother pushed me toward the servants' passage, her eyes desperate. "Run," she said. "Don't stop. Don't trust anyone." "Mother." "You're the heir. They'll hunt you. They'll kill you." She pressed something into my hand, a small silver pendant, our family crest. "Hide who you are. Survive." The second arrow took her in the back. I ran. I ran through burning corridors, through the servants' quarters, through the hidden tunnel that led to the forest. Behind me, I heard the palace collapsing, heard the howls of our pack being slaughtered. I ran until my lungs burned and my legs gave out. I ran until I collapsed in a ravine miles from home, clutching my mother's pendant and choking on smoke and grief. When I woke, the sun was rising, and I was utterly alone. For 3 years I survived. I moved from territory to territory, never staying long enough to be noticed. I took whatever work I could find, kitchen maid, stable hand, message runner. I kept my head down, my hair cut short, my wolf locked so deep inside me that even I could barely feel her. Royal wolves were rare. Our bloodline carried ancient magic, made us stronger, faster, more powerful than common wolves. But it also made us targets. The pack that destroyed my family, the Bloodfang pack, had seized control of the territories. Their alpha, Maddox Bloodfang, declared himself the new sovereign. He claimed my family had grown weak, that new leadership was needed. No one challenged him. No one dared. But I knew the truth. The attack wasn't about weakness. It was about power. About eliminating the royal bloodline so no one could contest his claim. And he'd succeeded. Everyone believed the royal family was dead. Everyone except me. I spent 3 years learning everything I could about the Bloodfang pack. Their territory, their weaknesses, their routines. I trained in secret, running, fighting, learning to control my wolf without letting her full power show. Because I had a plan. I was going to infiltrate the Bloodfang pack. I was going to get close to Maddox, and I was going to destroy him from the inside. The problem was getting in. The Bloodfang territory was heavily guarded. They didn't accept rogues or outsiders. The only way in was to be invited, recruited, or captured. That's when I heard about him. Kael Nightshade. He was a rogue alpha who'd somehow earned a place in Bloodfang's inner circle. Rumor said he was recruiting wolves for some kind of elite unit. Strong fighters. No questions asked about your past. It was perfect. Too perfect, maybe, but I was running out of options and time. Every day Maddox sat on the throne that belonged to my family was another day the territory suffered under his brutal rule. So I tracked Kael Nightshade to a border town in the neutral zone. And that's where my carefully constructed new life fell completely apart. Chapter 1. The Rogue Alpha. The tavern was exactly the kind of place I expected to find him. Rough wood walls, stale beer smell, wolves of questionable reputation drinking away their problems. I kept my hood up as I entered, my senses on high alert. Kael Nightshade sat in the back corner, exactly where the bartender said he'd be. He was not what I expected. The rumors painted him as a savage rogue, brutal, unpredictable, barely civilized. But the male lounging in the shadows looked more like a predator at rest. Tall, powerfully built, with dark hair that fell past his shoulders, and eyes so pale they looked almost silver in the dim light. Scars marked his face and bare arms, the kind earned in real combat, not ritual trials. He radiated danger the way a blade radiates sharpness. Several wolves sat at nearby tables, clearly his pack. They watched me approach with hostile eyes. I stopped a respectful distance from his table. "I'm looking for Kael Nightshade." "You found him." His voice was rough, like gravel and smoke. "What do you want?" "I heard you're recruiting." His pale eyes traveled over me, assessing. I'd deliberately made myself look unremarkable. Worn clothes, lean but not obviously strong, forgettable. "I don't recruit weaklings." "I'm not weak." "You look half-starved." He leaned back in his chair. "What pack are you from?" "No pack, I'm a rogue." "How long?" 3 years. His eyebrows rose slightly. "Long time for a lone wolf. Most rogues go mad after a year without pack bonds. I'm not most rogues." He studied me for a long moment. Then he stood, and I had to tilt my head back to maintain eye contact. He was even larger up close, radiating alpha dominance that made my wolf stir nervously. "Name?" "Sarah." "Just Sarah?" "Just Sarah." He circled me slowly, and I forced myself to stay still. This was a test. Show weakness now, and I'd never get close to Bloodfang territory. "You're hiding something," he said finally. My heart stuttered. Everyone's hiding something. "True." He stopped in front of me. "But most rogues smell like desperation and madness. You smell like—" He leaned closer, inhaling deeply. I froze. "You smell wrong," he finished quietly. "Not rogue, not packless. Something else." Terror shot through me. Could he smell it? The royal blood? Impossible. That was a myth. It had to be. "I don't know what you mean," I said carefully. His pale eyes narrowed. "Don't you?" Before I could answer, one of his wolves, a large male with ritual scars covering his chest, stepped forward. "Kael, stop playing with your food. If she wants to join, make her prove it." Kael's gaze didn't leave mine. "What did you have in mind, Thorn?" "The usual, pit fight. She survives 3 minutes against me. She's in." "And if she doesn't survive?" Thorn grinned, showing teeth. "Then we have one less mouth trying to leech off our resources." I should have been terrified. Should have backed down, found another way. But 3 years of hiding had taught me that the only way forward was through. "Fine," I said. "Let's fight." The pit was actually the tavern's back courtyard, ringed by barrels and crates. Word spread fast. Within minutes, dozens of wolves crowded around to watch. Thorn stripped off his shirt, revealing more scars and heavy muscle. He was easily twice my size. "Rules are simple," Kael said from his position leaning against the tavern wall. "No silver, no killing. 3 minutes. Begin." Thorn charged immediately. I dodged left, using my smaller size to slip under his grabbing hands. He was strong, but slow, relying on brute force. "Stand still," he snarled, swinging again. I ducked, drove my elbow into his kidney, and danced away. The crowd murmured. Thorn's face darkened. He shifted partially, his face elongating, claws extending. "Enough games!" He came at me faster now, claws slashing. I shifted my hands only, letting my own claws emerge to block his strikes. We traded blows, my speed against his power. But I was holding back. Had to. If I fought at full strength, they'd know immediately something was different about me. Thorn's claws caught my shoulder, tearing through cloth and skin. Pain lanced through me, but I used the momentum to spin away. Blood dripped down my arm. And that's when everything changed. Kael straightened from the wall, his entire body going rigid. His nostrils flared, and his eyes, his pale silver eyes, flashed pure gold. "Stop," he said, his voice cutting through the crowd noise like a whip crack. Thorn froze mid-lunge. "What?" "She's got 30 seconds left." "I said stop." Kael moved faster than any wolf should be able to, crossing the pit in a blur. He grabbed my bleeding arm, his grip gentle but unbreakable. His eyes locked on mine, burning gold now, his wolf right at the surface. "Who are you?" he demanded. "Your real name. Now." "I told you, Sarah." "Don't lie to me." His grip tightened fractionally. "Your blood. I can smell it, taste it on the air." His voice dropped to barely a whisper that somehow everyone heard anyway. "That's royal blood." The courtyard went absolutely silent. My mind raced. Deny it? Run? Fight? But the way he was looking at me, with something like wonder mixed with fury, told me lying was pointless. "Impossible," someone in the crowd muttered. "The royal family is dead." "Not all of them," Kael said, still staring at me. His thumb brushed across my bleeding wound, coming away red. He inhaled deeply, his eyes sliding closed for a fraction of a second. When they opened again, they burned brighter. "Seraphina Silvercrest," he said, and hearing my real name after 3 years made something in my chest crack open. "Last heir of the High Moon bloodline, thought to be dead for 3 years." He smiled, slow and dangerous. "Found you." Chapter 2. The Truth Between Enemies. They dragged me inside the tavern before I could run. Not violently, Kael's wolves were careful, almost respectful, but firmly. They sat me in a back room while Kael dismissed the crowd with threats and bribes. When he finally entered, closing the door behind him, I was already planning my escape route. Window too small. Door blocked by him. Would have to fight my way out. "Don't," he said quietly, reading my expression. "You won't make it past Thorn, and I'd rather not have to hunt you down." "So what? You're turning me in?" I lifted my chin. "Maddox will pay well for the last Silvercrest. Is that what you think?" He pulled out a chair and sat, gesturing for me to do the same. "That I'm going to sell you to Bloodfang?" "Aren't you? You work for him." "I work with him. Temporarily." "There's a difference." I didn't sit. "What do you want then?" Kael studied me for a long moment. 3 years, he said finally. 3 years you've been hiding, surviving alone. That takes serious strength, serious skill. He leaned forward. "So my question is, why reveal yourself now? Why try to join my recruitment?" No point lying anymore. He'd already figured out too much. "I want into Bloodfang territory," I said flatly. "I heard you could get me there." His eyebrows rose. "You want to infiltrate the pack that murdered your family?" "Yes." "Suicide mission?" "Probably." "Why?" I met his pale eyes directly. "Because Maddox Bloodfang sits on a throne built from my family's bones. Because he's terrorizing the territories with impunity. Because someone needs to stop him." My hands clenched into fists, and I'm all that's left. "You're one wolf. He has hundreds." "I know." "You're 18 years old, 21 now. Barely trained, with no pack support, no allies, no resources." He crossed his arms. "Even if you somehow got close to Maddox, even if you somehow managed to kill him, you'd be torn apart by his guards within seconds." "I know that too." "And you're willing to die anyway?" "Yes." The word hung in the air between us. Simple. Final. Kael shook his head slowly. "You're either incredibly brave or incredibly stupid. Can't I be both?" His lips twitched, almost a smile. "Tell me your plan." "The real plan, not the suicide charge version." I hesitated. Trusting a rogue alpha who worked for my enemy seemed insane, but he hadn't turned me in yet. Hadn't even called for his wolves. And something about the way he looked at me, not with greed or ambition, but with something like understanding. Made me want to talk. "I've been gathering information for 3 years," I said. "Bloodfang's territory layout, guard rotations, Maddox's habits. I know he has a summit planned in 2 months, all the allied alphas coming to his fortress to reaffirm their loyalty. You want to strike during the summit? I want to expose him during the summit. Show the other alphas what he really is, how he murdered my family in cold blood, how he's been consolidating power through fear and violence." I swallowed hard. "If I can prove he's not fit to lead, they might turn on him." "Might. It's better than nothing." Kael was quiet for a moment. Then he asked, "Why my recruitment specifically?" "Because you're an outsider. A rogue who earned Maddox's trust somehow. That means you have access others don't." I took a breath. "And because I'm running out of time and options." "You think I'll help you?" "I think you might, if the price is right." "What price? What do you want? Gold? Territory? Once Maddox is gone, I'm the legitimate heir. I can give you whatever you need." He laughed, a rough, genuine sound. "You're bargaining with a kingdom you don't have yet?" "Do you have a better offer?" "Actually," he said, his expression shifting to something unreadable, "I do." He stood and moved to the window, looking out at the darkening sky. "I'm not working with Bloodfang because I want to. I'm working with him because I have to." "What does that mean?" "It means Maddox has something of mine. Someone, actually." His jaw tightened. "My sister. He's holding her as insurance to ensure my loyalty." The words hit me like a physical blow. "He's holding her hostage?" "Essentially. She's in the fortress, treated well enough but unable to leave. And if I betray him, if I fail any mission he gives me..." Kael turned back to face me. "She dies." "How long?" 2 years. Ever since I refused to join his pack permanently." His pale eyes met mine. "So you see, Princess, we have something in common. We both want Maddox Bloodfang dead." My mind raced. "If I help you free your sister, then I help you infiltrate the pack and expose Maddox at the summit," he finished. "We work together, pool our resources and knowledge. You get your revenge and your throne. I get my sister back." It made sense. Terrifying, dangerous sense. "How do I know you won't betray me?" I asked. "Turn me in to earn favor with Maddox?" "You don't." He crossed the room to stand directly in front of me. "But consider this. If I wanted to turn you in, I would have already done it. The fact that we're still talking means I'm interested in your survival." "Why?" "Because you're right. Someone needs to stop Maddox. And a lone rogue alpha sure as hell isn't going to do it alone." He extended his hand. "So what do you say, Princess? Want to team up with a commoner and take down a tyrant?" I looked at his scarred hand, calloused from years of fighting and surviving. Everything about this was insane. Trusting a stranger. Planning an infiltration that would probably get us both killed. But he was right. I couldn't do this alone. And something in his pale silver eyes made me believe him. I took his hand. "Don't call me Princess." His grip was warm and firm. "What should I call you then?" "Sarah? Just Sarah." "All right, just Sarah." His smile was sharp and dangerous and strangely reassuring. "Let's go commit some treason." Chapter 3. Training the Princess Kael's pack consisted of 12 wolves, all rogues or outcasts who'd found their way to him over the years. They set up a temporary camp in the forest outside the border town, far enough from civilization to avoid attention, close enough to gather supplies when needed. "This is Thorn," Kael said, introducing the massive wolf I'd fought in the pit. "My second. Don't let his pretty face fool you. He's meaner than he looks." Thorn grunted what might have been a greeting. The deep claw marks I'd given him in our fight were already healing. "This is Maya." A lean female with silver-shot hair nodded to me. "Our scout." "If you need to know where someone is or how to get somewhere unseen, she's your wolf." Maya's dark eyes assessed me clinically. "You're smaller than expected for royalty. I get that a lot." "Good. Easier to hide." Kael continued the introductions. Finn the tracker, Ash the weapons master, Zara the healer. Each wolf had specialized skills, and all of them looked at me with varying degrees of skepticism. "She's the last Silvercrest?" Ash asked, eyeing me doubtfully. "Thought royalty would be bigger." "She took down Thorn in 3 minutes," Kael said mildly. "I had 1 minute left," Thorn protested. "You were losing." "Was not." "Enough." Kyle's voice carried alpha command, and both wolves immediately shut up. He turned to me. "You'll train with us, learn our methods, earn their trust. We leave for Bloodfang territory in 1 week." "1 week?" I protested. "That's not enough time. It's all we have. Maddox is getting suspicious about my prolonged recruitment trip. Any longer, and he'll send wolves to investigate." His pale eyes pinned me. "Can you be ready?" I thought about 3 years of hiding. 3 years of training in secret. 3 years of preparing for exactly this moment. Yes. "Good. Thorn, take her through basic combat assessment. I want to know what we're working with." The assessment was brutal. Thorn didn't hold back, and neither did I. We fought for over an hour, hand to hand, then shifted, then weapons. By the end, we were both bleeding and exhausted. "She's good," Thorn admitted grudgingly as Zara patched up our wounds. "Fast, smart, adapts quickly, but her technique is too refined, too formal." "What's wrong with refined?" I asked, wincing as Zara pressed antiseptic to a cut on my ribs. "Nothing if you're fighting in a tournament with rules," Thorn said. "But in real combat, you need to be dirty, vicious, whatever it takes to survive." "I know how to survive. I've been doing it for 3 years. You know how to hide," he corrected. "There's a difference." He wasn't wrong. My training had focused on avoiding detection, not winning fights. When I did have to fight, it was against common wolves, not trained warriors. "I'll teach her," Kael said, appearing from wherever he'd been watching. "The rest of you, continue preparations. We leave at first light in 7 days." The pack dispersed, leaving me alone with Kael and Zara. "Your Highness should rest," Zara said, finishing her work on my ribs. "You're healing faster than normal, but you're still exhausted." "Don't call me that," I said automatically. "Call you what?" "Your Highness, Princess, any of it." I met her eyes. "I'm just Sarah. I need to be just Sarah if this is going to work." Zara studied me for a moment, then nodded. "As you wish, Sarah." When she left, Kael sat down across from me. "She's right. You're healing fast." "Royal bloodline perk?" "I guess. I'd never thought about it before." "Is it that obvious?" "To anyone paying attention, yes." He pulled out a knife and began cleaning it, more for something to do with his hands than because it needed it. "You'll need to hide that in Bloodfang territory. Heal slower. Act weaker than you are." "I know." "Do you?" He looked up, pale eyes serious. "Because once we're in that territory, one mistake could get us both killed. You can't slip. Can't show any hint of royal bearing or power. You have to be completely convincing as a common packless wolf. I've been hiding for 3 years. Hiding alone is different from hiding in enemy territory surrounded by wolves who are looking for any excuse to prove their worth to Maddox." He sheathed the knife. "If even one wolf suspects who you really are, we're done. Then train me. Teach me to be convincing." "That's the plan." He stood, offering me his hand. "Come on. Lesson 1 starts now." "Now?" Zara said I should rest. "And you will. After lesson 1. His smile was wicked. "Rule number 1 of being a common wolf. You don't get to rest when you want to. You rest when your alpha says you can." I took his hand and let him pull me to my feet, ignoring the protest from my bruised muscles. "Fine. What's lesson 1? "Submission." I blinked. "What?" "Royals command. Commoners submit." He circled me slowly. "Every movement you make, every word you speak, every glance you give, it all screams alpha bloodline. Noble, powerful, untouchable." "I can be submissive. Can you?" He stopped behind me, close enough that I could feel his body heat. "Lower your eyes." I did. "Tilt your head. Expose your throat." Harder, but I did it. The position made me feel vulnerable. Wrong. "Good. Now hold it while I circle you." He moved around me slowly, and every instinct I had screamed to track him, to keep my eyes on the threat. But I forced myself to stay still, head tilted, eyes down. "You're shaking," he observed. "I'm fine." "You hate this?" "Yes." "Good. Remember that feeling. Because in Bloodfang territory you'll have to hold this position for Maddox, for his generals, for any wolf who outranks you." His voice was right next to my ear now, and if you show even a hint of the pride you're feeling right now, they'll know something's wrong. I swallowed hard. Understood. Again, lower, more submissive. We practiced until my neck cramped and my pride was in tatters. Then we practiced some more. By the time Kael finally let me stop, the sun was setting, and I was trembling with exhaustion and frustration. "Lesson 1 complete," he said. "Get some rest. Tomorrow we work on your accent." "My accent?" "Royals speak differently. Formal, educated. You need to sound like a rogue who's spent 3 years surviving on the streets." "I have spent 3 years surviving on the streets. But you still sound like a princess trying to sound common. There's a difference." He smiled slightly. "Don't worry. We'll fix it." I watched him walk away, heading toward his own tent, and realized with growing dread just how much work this was going to take. Being royal had been easy. Natural? Learning to be common? That might be the hardest thing I'd ever done. Chapter 4. The Scent of Secrets. Training with Kael was hell. Every morning he woke me before dawn with impossibly difficult tasks. Run 5 miles with stones in my pack, climb trees while exhausted, fight Thorn while blindfolded. But the physical training wasn't the hardest part. The hardest part was unlearning 21 years of royal bearing. "Stop walking like you own the ground you're standing on," Kael snapped on the 3rd day as I crossed the training grounds. "I'm just walking." "No, you're gliding, confident, head high, shoulders back, like you expect everyone to move out of your way." He demonstrated the confident, unconscious grace of someone born to rule. Then he shifted, hunching his shoulders, shortening his stride, making himself smaller. This is how packless wolves move. Careful, alert, always ready to run or fight. I tried to mimic him, failed miserably. Again. We practiced for hours, walking, talking, eating, sitting. Every movement analyzed and corrected until I wanted to scream. "Why does it matter so much?" I asked on the 4th day after Kael made me redo a simple gesture for the 10th time. "So what if I sit up straight? Plenty of common wolves have good posture." "It's not about posture." Kael sat across from me, his pale eyes serious. "It's about the accumulation of 1,000 small things. The way you hold your fork, the way you wait for others to speak first, the way you expect doors to be opened for you, even though you'd never admit it. I don't expect... You do. I've watched you. Someone approaches a door and you slow down, just slightly, expecting them to get it." He leaned forward. "You've had servants your whole life. It's trained into you. Invisible assumptions about how the world works." Heat flooded my face. He was right. I had never thought about it, but he was absolutely right. How do I stop? Practice, awareness, constant vigilance. He stood. "Come on, we're going to town." "What? Why?" "Field exercise. You need to practice being common around actual wolves, not just me." The border town was busy with afternoon trade. Wolves from various packs mingled in the market, trading goods and information. "Stay close," Kael said, leading me through the crowd. "Watch how people move, how they interact. See the difference?" I did. Common wolves were louder, rougher, more physical. They jostled each other, spoke in abbreviated slang, laughed raucously at crude jokes. "Your turn," Kael said, pushing me gently toward a food stall. "Buy us some meat pies. And remember, you're a packless wolf who's been on the road for weeks. Act like it." I approached the stall, suddenly nervous. The vendor was a large female with suspicious eyes. "What do you want?" she asked brusquely. "2 meat pies, please." My voice came out too refined, too polite. Her eyes narrowed. "You got coin?" "Yes." I fumbled for the coins Kael had given me, dropping one. When I bent to pick it up, I remembered. Back straight, graceful. Wrong. The vendor's suspicion deepened. "Where's your pack, girl?" "I don't have one. I'm rogue." "Don't look rogue. Look too clean. Too fed." She crossed her arms. "Who's your alpha?" "I don't... Hey." Kael appeared at my shoulder. His entire demeanor changed. Rougher, more aggressive, protective. "Problem here?" The vendor's eyes flicked to him, reassessing. "You're female?" "My recruit. She's new to the territory." His hand landed on my shoulder, possessive. "We have a problem?" "No problem." But the vendor's eyes lingered on me with suspicion before she handed over the pies. We left quickly, Kael pulling me into an alley. "What did I do wrong?" I asked immediately. "Everything." But his tone wasn't unkind. "Your voice was too formal. Your posture too correct. You didn't challenge her when she questioned you. Common wolves would have gotten defensive, aggressive." "I was trying not to cause a scene." "Exactly. Royals avoid scenes. Common wolves create them." He ran a hand through his dark hair. "Look, I know this is hard. Your fighting instincts drilled into you since childhood. But if you walk into Bloodfang territory acting like that, you'll last maybe 5 minutes before someone realizes you're not what you claim to be." "Then tell me how to fix it." "I am telling you, you're just not." He stopped, nostrils flaring suddenly, his eyes widened, pupils dilating. "What?" I looked around nervously. "What is it?" "Your scent." His voice had gone rough. "It's changing." "Changing how?" He stepped closer, inhaling deeply. His pupils were fully dilated now, his wolf right at the surface. "When you get emotional, angry, frustrated, scared, your scent spikes. Gets sweeter, more concentrated." "Is that bad?" "It's noticeable." His jaw clenched. "And it smells like... Like what?" "Like royal blood." His pale eyes locked on mine. "Like honey and old magic and silver moonlight. Exactly the way the old stories describe it." My stomach dropped. "But you said that was a myth." "I lied." He grabbed my arm, not roughly but urgently. "I wanted to see if it was true. Now I know it is." He pulled me deeper into the alley. "We need to figure out how to mask it. Because if I can smell it, Maddox will definitely smell it." "How? How do I mask my own scent?" "I don't know, but we need to figure it out fast. Because we leave in 3 days, and if you walk into that territory smelling like royalty..." He didn't finish the sentence. Didn't need to. We spent the rest of the day brainstorming solutions. Maya suggested rolling in mud and common herbs to cover the scent. Zara offered suppressants that might dull my wolf enough to reduce the scent output. Finn proposed keeping me constantly downwind of any wolves we encountered. None of it felt sufficient. That night I lay in my tent staring at the canvas ceiling, panic clawing at my chest. 3 years of planning, of preparing, and I might fail because of something I couldn't control. A soft knock made me sit up. "Yes?" Kael entered, looking exhausted. "Can't sleep either?" "No." He sat down across from me, careful to maintain proper distance. We'd been scrupulously professional since that moment in the alley when he'd scented my royal blood. "I've been thinking," he said, "about your scent problem. And there might be one solution. Risky, but it could work. Tell me." He hesitated, then said, "Mate bonding." My heart stuttered. "What?" "Not a full bond. Just marking. If you carried another alpha's scent, it would mask your own." He wouldn't quite meet my eyes. "If you smelled like me, wolves would assume you were mine. They wouldn't look deeper." "You want to mark me?" The words came out strangled. "I want to keep us both alive. This is the most practical solution. It's insane. It's practical, he insisted. A partial mark. Just enough scent to cover yours. It would explain why you're traveling with me, why you're under my protection. Maddox would assume you're my mate and not look too closely at your bloodline. Marking isn't casual. It's intimate. I know what it is. His pale eyes finally met mine. But it's not a full bond. No soul tie. Just a physical mark that fades over time if not renewed. He paused. Unless you have a better idea? I didn't, and he knew it. How would it work? I'd need to bite you. Here. He gestured to the junction of neck and shoulder, deep enough to leave a scar, to transfer my scent into your bloodstream. Would it hurt? Yes. He was honest at least. But you're healing quickly. The pain wouldn't last long. And after? What happens after Maddox is dead and we don't need the ruse anymore? The mark fades, if not maintained. Give it a few months and it'll disappear completely. I should have said no. Should have found another solution. But we were running out of time and options. Do it, I said. Tomorrow night, after the pack is asleep. No witnesses. Kael nodded slowly. Understood. He started to leave, then paused at the tent entrance. Sarah? For what it's worth, I wish we didn't have to do this. I wish there was another way. But there's not. No, there's not. After he left continue 8:25 a.m., I touched my neck where he would bite me, where I would carry his scent, his mark, pretending to be mates with a rogue alpha to infiltrate my family's killers. This plan was either brilliant or completely insane. Probably both. Chapter 5. The Marking. The next evening, after the pack settled into sleep, I waited in my tent with my heart hammering against my ribs. A soft knock came just after midnight. Kael entered silently, closing the tent flap behind him. In the dim light of my single candle, his scarred face looked almost hesitant. Last chance to back out, he said quietly. I'm not backing out. This isn't reversible. Once I mark you, I understand the consequences. I sat up straighter, trying to project confidence I didn't feel. Let's just get it over with. He sat across from me, close enough that our knees almost touched. I need you to understand something first. When I bite you, when my scent mixes with your blood, there will be sensations. What kind of sensations? Intimacy, connection. Your wolf will react to mine, even though we're not true mates. His pale eyes held mine. It won't be comfortable. Will it be painful? Yes, but that's not what I'm talking about. He leaned forward slightly. Marking triggers instincts, possession, protection, belonging. You'll feel them. So will I. We need to be prepared for that. My mouth went dry. How prepared? Very. He gestured to my neck. I need access. Can you... I pulled my hair aside, exposing the junction of my neck and shoulder. Kyle's eyes flashed gold for just a moment before he controlled himself. Lean toward me. Make it easier to reach. I did, and suddenly we were very close. His breath ghosted across my skin, warm and carrying that wild scent of his, pine and smoke, and something indefinably male. This will hurt, he warned again. Try not to scream. Don't want to wake the pack. Just do it, I whispered. He struck fast, one moment hovering, the next his teeth sinking deep into my flesh. White-hot pain exploded through me. I bit down on my lip hard enough to taste blood, choking back the scream that wanted to tear free. But the pain wasn't the worst part. The worst part was the rush of sensation that followed. Heat flooding through my veins, spreading from the bite mark outward. My wolf surged up, not in defense, but in recognition, responding to his dominance, his claim. Mine, something primal whispered. Ours. Protected. Wanted. Kael's arms came around me, holding me steady as his teeth remained embedded in my throat. I felt his wolf pushing against mine, scent marking, claiming, establishing the bond. It was overwhelming. Intimate in a way I hadn't anticipated. I could feel his emotions bleeding through the connection. Fierce protectiveness, reluctant desire, and underneath it all, loneliness so profound it made my chest ache. When he finally pulled back, licking the wound closed, we were both shaking. "Sarah," he said, his voice rough, "look at me." I raised my eyes and found his face inches from mine, his pupils blown wide, his breathing ragged. "You feel it," he said. Not a question. "Yes." The word came out barely a whisper. "The bond. It's stronger than I expected." His thumb brushed my jaw, and even that small touch sent electricity through me. More than just marking. Is that normal? No. He pulled back, putting distance between us, and the loss of contact felt physical. "Your blood. Your royal bloodline. It's reacting to the marking differently." "Differently how?" "I don't know, but I can feel you." He pressed a hand to his chest. "Here. Your emotions. Your presence. Like an echo." "I feel you too," I admitted. "Your protectiveness. Your—" I stopped, not wanting to mention the loneliness I'd sensed. He stood abruptly. "This complicates things." "How?" "Because if I can feel you this strongly, if the bond is this pronounced, it means breaking it later will be harder." He ran a hand through his hair, a gesture I was learning meant he was stressed. "I should go." "Kael, get some sleep. We leave tomorrow, and—" He paused at the tent entrance. "The mark worked. Your scent is different now, covered by mine. Maddox shouldn't be able to smell your royal blood." "That's good, right?" "Yes, that's good." But the way he said it, the conflict in his pale eyes, told me he wasn't entirely convinced this was a good development. After he left, I touched the mark on my throat. Already healing, but I could feel it. The permanent scar tissue forming, the lingering sensation of his teeth. His claim. Through the bond I didn't know we'd formed, I felt his presence in his tent across the camp. Felt his conflict, his concern. And underneath it, carefully buried but impossible to hide completely now, his attraction to me. Oh no, this was definitely going to complicate things. Chapter 6. Into Enemy Territory. We crossed into Bloodfang territory at dawn. The border was marked by standing stones carved with Maddox's sigil, a blood-red fang against a black moon. Kael's pack passed through easily, but I felt every hair on my body stand up in warning. This was where my family died, where Maddox consolidated his stolen power. "Easy," Kael murmured, close enough that only I could hear. Through the bond I felt his steadying presence. "Don't let your emotions show." I forced my breathing to even out, my posture to relax. Common packless wolf. Just passing through with my alpha. The first checkpoint came within an hour. 3 Bloodfang warriors stepped out of the trees, all of them large and heavily armed. The lead wolf, a scarred male with cold eyes, raised his hand. "Halt! State your business." "Kael Nightshade," Kael said, his tone bored. "Returning from recruitment, expected by Alpha Maddox." The warrior's eyes flicked over our group, lingering on me. "Who's the female?" "Mine." Kael's hand found my shoulder, possessive. "Found her on the road. Useful skills." "What kind of skills?" "The kind that aren't your concern." Kael's voice carried a warning edge. "Unless you want to explain to Maddox why you're delaying his summons." The warrior's jaw tightened, but he stepped aside. "Pass. But the female needs to register at the fortress." "She will." We continued forward, and I forced myself not to look back at the checkpoint, not to show any reaction to being discussed like property. "Good," Kael said quietly once we were out of earshot. "You held it together. That's the kind of treatment you'll get constantly here. Need to get used to it." "I am used to it." 3 years of being invisible had taught me how to swallow pride. "What happens at the fortress?" "We report to Maddox. I present my new recruits. You. He glanced at me. You stay close and keep your mouth shut. Let me handle any questions. And then? Then we establish you as part of my unit. Find you quarters. Start gathering intelligence for the summit. His hand tightened briefly on my shoulder. Remember, you're packless, desperate for belonging, grateful to be here. That's the role. I nodded, filing away every detail of the landscape as we traveled. Guard positions, patrol patterns, weak points in the territory's defense. The fortress came into view as the sun reached its peak. It was massive, black stone walls rising from the mountainside, towers at each corner, Maddox's crimson banners snapping in the wind. My family's fortress, corrupted and claimed by a usurper. Rage burned in my chest. Through the bond, I felt Kael's warning squeeze. Don't. Not here. Control it. I breathed deeply, forcing the emotion down, locking it away. Later. I'd have time for rage, later. The main gates opened as we approached. More warriors, more suspicious stares. But Kael's reputation preceded him. Wolves stepped aside, showing respect mixed with wariness. We were led through corridors I remembered from childhood, now decorated with Maddox's colors instead of my family's silver and blue. Each familiar corner twisted my heart. Finally, we reached the throne room, and there he was. Maddox Bloodfang sat on my father's throne, looking every inch the conquering tyrant. He was massive, heavily muscled, with ritual scars covering his bare chest and arms. His eyes were a cold, calculating amber that swept over our group dismissively. Kael. About time you returned. His voice was deep, commanding. I was beginning to think you'd run off. Just being thorough, Alpha. Kael's entire demeanor changed, more deferential, more careful, playing the subordinate. I've brought 10 new recruits, all skilled fighters. 10? Maddox's eyes narrowed. I sent you for 5. Opportunity presented itself. Thought you'd prefer excess than shortage. Maddox's gaze swept over the recruits, then stopped on me. And this one? She's small. Fast, smart, useful for infiltration work. Is she now? Maddox stood, descending from the throne. Every instinct screamed at me to run as he approached. Come here, girl. I glanced at Kael, who gave the barest nod. I stepped forward, remembering every lesson about submission. Eyes down, head tilted, shoulders hunched. Maddox circled me slowly. She smells like you. She's mine, Kael confirmed. Yours? Maddox's hand shot out, gripping my chin and forcing my head up. His amber eyes bored into mine. Look at me. I did, making my gaze as blank and unthreatening as possible, showing nothing of the hatred burning in my chest. He studied my face for a long moment. I held my breath, certain he would recognize me, certain he'd see past the dirt and raggedness to the princess who'd escaped 3 years ago. Then he released me, turning away dismissively. Fine, she can stay. But if she causes problems, she's your responsibility. Understood, Alpha. Your sister is waiting in the East Wing. I'm sure you're eager to check on her. Kael's whole body tensed. Thank you, Alpha. Maddox waved a hand, already losing interest. Dismissed. Report for duty tomorrow at dawn. We were escorted out, back through corridors that hurt to see corrupted. When we finally reached the quarters assigned to Kael's unit, I felt like I could breathe again. You did well, Kael said quietly. He didn't suspect anything. He touched me. My voice shook despite my best efforts. He was so close. If he'd looked harder, but he didn't. Kyle's hand found mine, warm and grounding. You fooled him. That's what matters. Through the bond, I felt his relief, and underneath it, rage matching my own. You felt it too, I said, when he touched me. You wanted to. Yes. His eyes flashed gold. The bond makes you mine to protect. Every instinct I have screamed to tear his throat out for daring to touch you. He squeezed my hand once, then released it. But that's exactly the kind of reaction that will get us killed. We both need to control ourselves. I know. Good, because tomorrow we start gathering intelligence, and that means being around Maddox more often. Can you handle it? I thought about my parents, my family, everything this mail had stolen. Yes, I said. I can handle it. Then let's begin. Chapter 7. The Sister. That evening, after settling the recruits into their quarters, Kael took me to the East Wing. Stay quiet, he warned as we walked. My sister doesn't know about you, about the plan. The less she knows, the safer she is. What's her name? Luna. His expression softened in a way I'd never seen. She's 16. Been stuck here for 2 years while I've been running Maddox's errands like a trained dog. The East Wing was heavily guarded, but the warriors knew Kael. They let us pass, with barely a glance. He stopped at a door near the end of the corridor and knocked softly. Luna? It's me. The door flew open and a young girl threw herself into Kael's arms. She was small, delicate-looking, with the same pale silver eyes as her brother. Kael, you're back! She hugged him fiercely. I was so worried. You were gone almost 3 weeks this time. I'm fine. I'm always fine. He held her tightly, and through the bond I felt the depth of his love for her, the guilt, the desperate need to keep her safe. How have you been? Anyone giving you trouble? No more than usual. She pulled back, noticed me for the first time. Who's this? This is Sarah. She's with me now. Luna's eyebrows rose. With you? Like, with you? Heat flooded my face. Kael's hand found the small of my back, a casual gesture that looked natural. Yes, that way. Oh. Luna studied me with curiosity, and something that looked like relief. Good. You need someone. You've been alone too long. Luna, I'm serious. You've been so focused on getting me out of here that you haven't lived at all. She grabbed my hand suddenly. Come in, both of you. Tell me everything. Where did you meet? How long has this been going on? Does Maddox know? We entered her chambers, surprisingly comfortable for a hostage. Plush furnishings, books stacked everywhere, windows that overlooked the mountains. Maddox knows she's mine, Kael said, settling into a chair. Beyond that, it's not his concern. Luna sat cross-legged on her bed, pulling me down beside her. So? Details. I've been stuck in this fortress with nothing but guards and tutors for entertainment. Give me something interesting. I glanced at Kael, uncertain how much to say. He gave a small nod. We met about a week ago, I said carefully. He was recruiting. I was looking for a pack. And it was love at first sight? Luna asked hopefully. More like recognition. Not entirely a lie. We both needed something the other could provide. That's so romantic, Luna sighed. Then her expression sharpened. Wait, you marked her? I can see it on her neck. Kael shifted uncomfortably. Yes. That's fast. Like, really fast. Luna looked between us. You've known her a week and you marked her? You, the wolf who hasn't shown interest in anyone in years? It was necessary. Necessary? Luna's voice rose. Kael, what's going on? What are you not telling me? Through the bond, I felt Kael's internal war. He wanted to tell her, wanted to share the plan, prepare her for what was coming. But he was terrified of putting her at more risk. We can't talk about it here, he said finally. These walls have ears. Luna's expression shifted to understanding. She stood, moved to a corner of the room, and pressed a hidden panel. A small compartment opened, revealing what looked like crystals. Silencing wards, she explained. I bought them off a witch who supplies Maddox's court. They create a bubble of privacy. No one can hear us for the next hour. Kael stared at her. How long have you had those? 6 months. You think I've just been sitting here reading? She crossed her arms. I've been preparing, gathering information, waiting for the right moment. Her silver eyes pinned him. Now tell me what's really happening. Who is she?" Kael looked at me. I could feel his question through the bond. "Your call. I made a decision. If we were going to pull this off, we needed allies. And Luna was smart, resourceful, stuck in the heart of enemy territory." "My name is Seraphina Silvercrest," I said quietly, "last heir of the High Moon bloodline, and I'm here to take back my throne." Luna's eyes went wide. You're the princess? But everyone thinks you're dead." "That's the idea. And you're here to—" She looked at her brother. "You're planning to kill Maddox." "At the summit," Kael confirmed. 2 months from now. Expose him in front of all the allied alphas. Show them what he really is." "That's insane." But Luna was smiling. "I love it. What do you need from me?" "Information," I said. "You've been here 2 years. You must know things. Maddox's routines, his weaknesses. Who's loyal to him versus who's just afraid." "I know plenty." Luna's expression turned calculating. "But there's something you should know first. Something I only recently discovered." "What?" "Maddox is planning something for the summit. Something big." She leaned forward. "I overheard him talking to his generals. He's not just accepting renewed loyalty oaths. He's planning to announce a mate bond." My stomach dropped. "With who?" "That's the thing. I don't know. He's kept it secret. But whoever she is, bonding with her will give him some kind of legitimacy he doesn't currently have." Luna looked at me meaningfully. "If I had to guess, he's looking for someone with royal blood. But I'm the only one left." The words died as realization hit. "No, he can't possibly think that you're alive somewhere, that he can find you and force a bond." Luna nodded grimly. "He's had wolves searching for 3 years, quietly, discreetly. He's obsessed with legitimizing his rule." "Then we need to move faster," Kael said. "If he finds out she's here—" "He won't," I interrupted. "I've fooled him once already. I can do it again." "Can you?" Luna asked seriously. "Because if he even suspects who you are, he won't kill you. He'll lock you up, force the bond, and use you to cement his power forever." The room fell silent. "Then we make sure he doesn't suspect," I said finally. "Luna, you said you've been gathering information. What do you have?" She smiled, sharp and dangerous. "Everything. Guard schedules, supply manifests, which warriors are unhappy with Maddox's leadership, which alphas are only allied with him out of fear." She pulled out a hidden journal from under her mattress. "I've been documenting everything for 2 years, waiting for someone who could actually use it." Kael stared at his sister with something like awe. "Luna, did you really think I was just going to sit here helplessly?" She handed me the journal. "I'm not a warrior like you, Kael, but I can be a spy, and I'm damn good at it." I flipped through the pages, meticulous notes, maps, observations. This was gold. This was exactly what we needed. "Thank you," I said sincerely. "Don't thank me yet. Thank me after we pull this off." Luna's expression turned serious. "But you need to be careful. Maddox has a new general, Commander Voss. He's smart, paranoid, and completely loyal. He's been tightening security, questioning anyone new to the territory." "We've met the checkpoints," Kael said. "Those are nothing. Voss has informants everywhere, people who report anything suspicious." She looked at me. "Your disguise is good, but if you slip even once, if anyone sees anything that makes them question your story, Voss will investigate, and he doesn't stop until he finds answers. Then I won't slip," I said with more confidence than I felt. Luna smiled. "I like her, Kael. She's got spine." "Yeah," Kael said softly, his eyes on me. "She does." Through the bond I felt his pride, his worry, and underneath it something warmer that made my heart race. The silencing ward flickered. 5-minute warning. "We should go," Kael said, standing. "Luna, be careful. Don't do anything to draw attention." "Same to you." She hugged him again, then surprised me by hugging me too. Take care of my brother. He acts tough, but he's softer than he pretends." "I heard that," Kael grumbled. "You were supposed to." Luna pulled back, her expression suddenly vulnerable. "Bring me with you when you leave. Please, I can help. I want to help." "When we leave, you're coming," Kael promised. "That's not negotiable." After we left Luna's chambers, we walked in silence back to our quarters. The bond hummed between us, carrying emotions neither of us wanted to name. "Your sister is remarkable," I said finally. "She's a survivor, like you." He glanced at me. "She likes you. That's rare." "She loves you. That's obvious." "She's all I have left." His voice went rough. "If anything happened to her because of this plan—" "It won't." I touched his arm, stopping him in an empty corridor. "We'll get her out, both of you, I promise." "Don't make promises you can't keep, Princess." "I'm not." I held his gaze. "And don't call me that." His lips quirked. "What should I call you then? Your Highness? Your Majesty?" "Sarah. Just Sarah." "Just Sarah," he repeated, the same words I'd used when we first met. His hand came up to cup my face, thumb brushing my cheekbone. "You're going to be a queen again someday. You know that, right? Maybe. If we survive this. When we survive this," he corrected. "And when you're sitting on that throne, what happens to the rogue alpha who helped you get there? What do you want to happen?" His pale eyes searched mine. "I don't know. I haven't thought past keeping Luna safe and killing Maddox." "Then we'll figure it out together. After." "After," he agreed softly. We stood there for a long moment, close enough that I could feel his heartbeat, close enough that kissing him would be effortless. Then footsteps echoed down the corridor. We sprang apart, professional distance immediately restored. A patrol passed, eyeing us with suspicion but saying nothing. When they were gone, Kael stepped back further. "We should keep our distance, in public and private. The bond is already stronger than expected. Don't need to complicate things more." He was right. This was practical, strategic. So why did it feel like rejection? "Understood," I said coolly. "I'll see you at morning training." I left before he could respond, before he could feel through the bond how much his words had stung. This was supposed to be fake, a convenient alliance, two wolves working toward a common goal. But somewhere between the marking and now, something had shifted, and I was terrified to examine what that something might be. Chapter 8, The Commander's Suspicion. Training with Bloodfang's warriors was brutal. Commander Voss ran the sessions with military precision and zero tolerance for weakness. He was a massive wolf, even larger than Kael, with cold gray eyes that missed nothing. "New recruits!" he barked on our third morning. "Front and center!" Kael's 10 recruits lined up, me among them. I kept my eyes down, my posture submissive, everything I'd practiced. Voss walked down the line slowly, examining each of us like livestock. When he reached me, he stopped. "You, the female, name?" "Sarah, sir." "Look at me when you speak." I raised my eyes. His gray gaze was assessing, calculating. "You're Kael's mate." "Yes, sir." "Where are you from?" "No pack, sir. Been rogue for 3 years." 3 years is a long time to survive alone. He circled me. "What happened to your pack?" I'd prepared for this question. They were slaughtered. Vampire raid. I was the only survivor. "Vampires?" His tone suggested disbelief. "Where?" "Northern Territories. Small pack. We weren't important enough for anyone to remember." "Name of the pack?" "Greystone, sir." He was silent for a long moment. Then, "Greystone was destroyed 4 years ago. Not 3. My heart stopped. Through the bond, I felt Kael's alarm. I might have the timing wrong," I said quickly. "When you're running, surviving, the days blur together. Or you're lying?" Voss moved closer. "I don't like liars in my ranks. Makes me wonder what else you're hiding." "I'm not hiding anything, sir. Just trying to survive, same as anyone." "We'll see," He stepped back. "You'll report to my office after training. I have questions." "Yes, sir." He moved on, but I could feel his suspicion like a brand. Through the bond, Kael's worry was palpable. The rest of training was a nightmare. Every exercise, every drill, I felt Voss watching me, looking for mistakes, waiting for me to slip. When it finally ended, Kael caught my arm as I headed toward the commander's office. "Don't go," he said quietly. "I have to. Refusing a direct order will make things worse. He suspects something. If he interrogates you, then I'll handle it." I touched his hand briefly. "Trust me." "I do. But no buts. This is what we came here to do. We knew it would be dangerous." I squeezed his hand once, then let go. "If I don't come back in an hour, then you can worry." I walked to Voss's office before I could lose my nerve. He was waiting, sitting behind a massive desk covered in maps and reports. He didn't look up when I entered. "Sit." I sat. "Tell me about Greystone Pack," he said, still not looking up. "It was small, maybe 30 wolves. We lived in the northern forests, kept to ourselves." "Who was the alpha?" I'd researched this. "Marcus Greystone. Describe him." "Tall, gray fur in wolf form. Scar across his left eye from a bear fight when he was young." Voss finally looked up. "That's all publicly known information. Anyone who did basic research could recite those details." "Because it's the truth." "No." He stood, moving around the desk. "The truth is that you're too educated for a rogue, too well-spoken, too clean." He stopped in front of me. "You don't act like someone who's been barely surviving for 3 years." "I've been trying to better myself. You've been lying." He leaned down, his face inches from mine. "And I'm going to find out why." My wolf snarled inside me, wanting to challenge his dominance. I forced her down, kept my posture submissive, even as terror clawed at my throat. "I'm not lying, sir. I'm just a packless wolf who got lucky enough to find Kael." "Yes, Kael." Voss straightened. "That's interesting, too. Kael Nightshade, the rogue alpha who's been running errands for Maddox for 2 years, suddenly comes back with a mate? After showing no interest in anyone during his entire time here? Sometimes you meet the right person, or sometimes you need a convenient cover story." His eyes narrowed. "What are you really doing here, Sarah? Who sent you?" "No one sent me. I'm just—" The door slammed open. Kael stood there, his face dark with fury. "Commander," he said tightly, "is there a problem with my mate?" Voss turned slowly. "Your mate is having trouble with her story. Thought I'd help her clarify some details. Her story is her business, not yours. Everything in this territory is my business." Voss crossed his arms. "And convenient mates who appear out of nowhere? Definitely my business. Are you accusing me of something? Should I be?" The tension in the room was suffocating. Through the bond, I felt Kael's barely leashed violence, his desperate need to protect me, warring with the knowledge that attacking a commander would doom us both. "My mate is packless," Kael said carefully. "She's been through trauma. If her timeline is off by a few months, it's because remembering your pack's slaughter isn't exactly pleasant. Or because she's making it up. Watch yourself, Commander. Is that a threat?" "It's a warning. She's mine. That means she's under my protection. Question her loyalty again, and we'll have a problem." Voss smiled, cold and calculating. "Interesting. The ruthless Kael Nightshade, showing emotion over a female he's known for a week. Either you're genuinely besotted, which would be a first—" He looked at me. "Or she's more important than she appears." I stood slowly, moving to Kael's side. Through the bond, I sent calm, control. "Don't fight him." "Permission to leave, Commander?" I asked quietly. "If you have more questions, I'm happy to answer them, but I'd prefer not to do it while my mate is looking ready to tear someone's throat out." Voss studied us for a long moment. Then he waved a hand dismissively. "Go. But I'll be watching you, Sarah. Both of you. And if I find out you're lying, You're not hiding behind your mate bond. You'll answer to me." We left quickly, not speaking until we were back in Kael's private quarters. The moment the door closed, he pulled me into his arms. "That was too close," he said against my hair. "He knows something's wrong. He suspects. That's different from knowing. Not by much." He pulled back. "We might need to accelerate the timeline. Get out before he figures out who you are." "No, we're too close. The summit is in 6 weeks. If we leave now, we lose our chance to expose Maddox in front of the other alphas. If we stay, Voss might expose us first. Then we're careful. We don't give him anything else to question." I touched his face. "We can do this, Kael. We have to." He caught my hand, pressing it against his cheek. Through the bond, I felt his conflict, his desire to keep me safe warring with his knowledge that I was right. "I'm afraid," he admitted quietly. "I'm afraid of losing you before—" He stopped. "Before what?" His pale eyes met mine. "Before I've had enough time with you." The words hung between us, heavy with meaning neither of us was ready to examine. "You won't lose me," I whispered. "You can't promise that. Watch me." I kissed him before I could think better of it. Before the rational part of my brain could remind me this was supposed to be fake, convenient, temporary. He froze for half a heartbeat. Then he was kissing me back, one hand tangling in my hair, the other pulling me closer. It was desperate and fierce and nothing like a strategic alliance. When we finally broke apart, both breathing hard, he pressed his forehead to mine. "This is a terrible idea," he murmured. "I know. This complicates everything. I know. We should stop." "Probably." Neither of us moved. Neither of us pulled away. "After this is over," Kael said quietly. "After Maddox is dead and you're on your throne and Luna is safe. What then?" "I don't know. You'll be queen. You'll need an appropriate mate. Someone with status, political connections, a proper bloodline." "Stop!" I pulled back to look at him. "Let's survive the next 6 weeks first. Then we'll worry about appropriate mates and proper bloodlines." "Sarah!" A sharp knock interrupted whatever he was going to say. Kael immediately stepped back, putting proper distance between us. "Enter." Thorne stuck his head in. "Sorry to interrupt, but there's a summons. Maddox wants to see you both. Now." Through the bond, I felt Kael's immediate spike of worry. "Both of us?" I asked. "Both of you?" Thorne's scarred face was grim, and he specifically requested the female. By name. My blood ran cold. Maddox wanted to see me. Specifically. Either this was routine, or Voss had already reported his suspicions. Either way, I was about to come face to face with my family's murderer. Again. Chapter 9. The Tyrant's Offer. The throne room was packed with Bloodfang warriors when we arrived. Maddox sat on my father's throne, my throne, looking every inch the conquering king. Commander Voss stood at his right hand, his expression unreadable. "Kael," Maddox said pleasantly. Too pleasantly. "And his mysterious new mate. Come forward." We approached, Kael slightly ahead of me, protective. I kept my eyes down, my posture submissive, every muscle screaming with tension. "Commander Voss has brought something interesting to my attention," Maddox continued. "It seems your mate has some inconsistencies in her story." "With respect, Alpha," Kael said carefully, "survivors of trauma often have imperfect memories." "Oh, I'm not questioning her trauma." Maddox stood, descending from the throne. "I'm questioning who she is." He stopped directly in front of me. "Look at me, girl." I raised my eyes slowly, making them blank, empty of the hatred churning beneath. Maddox studied my face for a long, terrifying moment. "You know, there's something familiar about you. Can't quite place it." My heart hammered. Through the bond, I felt Kael's terror matching mine. "I have a common face, Alpha," I said quietly. Maybe." He circled me slowly. "Or maybe I've seen you somewhere before. Maybe... He leaned close, inhaling deeply. I held my breath. Could he smell it? The royal blood beneath Kael's mark? Interesting, Maddox murmured. Your scent. Under Kael's mark, there's something different. She's mine, Kael said firmly. Fully marked, fully claimed. So you say. Maddox stepped back. But there's an easy way to settle this. A test of loyalty. What kind of test? Kael asked warily. Maddox smiled. At the upcoming summit, I'll be announcing a special honor. A new position in my court, second of the guard. An elite role, directly beneath Commander Voss. He turned to me. I'm offering this position to you, Sarah. The throne room went silent. Alpha, Kael started. She's not... Let her speak. Maddox's eyes locked on mine. What do you say, girl? A chance to prove your loyalty. A chance to rise from packless nobody to one of the most powerful wolves in the territory. It was a trap. Had to be. But what kind? I'm honored by the offer, Alpha, I said carefully. But I'm not worthy. I'll be the judge of that. He leaned closer. Here's what troubles me. A female appears out of nowhere, attaches herself to one of my most capable warriors, and now has access to my fortress. If I were paranoid, I might think that was suspicious. I'm not a threat. Prove it. Accept the position. Swear a blood oath of loyalty to me personally. Show me that you're exactly what you claim to be. A blood oath. The most binding magical contract possible. It would tie me to Maddox, make betraying him physically painful, potentially lethal. It would also make my infiltration nearly impossible. That's a significant honor, Kael said, his voice tight with controlled panic. She'll need time to consider. She'll decide now. Maddox's smile was predatory. Accept the honor, or I'll assume Voss is right to be suspicious, and we'll find other ways to determine your true intentions, meaning torture, interrogation, methods that would break my cover within minutes. I was trapped. Accept the oath and bind myself to my enemy, or refuse and face exposure. Through the bond, I felt Kael's desperation. His need to protect me, warring with the horrible knowledge that he couldn't. Not here. Not now. I opened my mouth to accept the oath, to sacrifice the mission to save my life. Wait! Luna's voice cut through the throne room like a blade. She stood in the doorway, flanked by guards, her pale, silver eyes blazing with determination. Luna, Maddox said, surprised. What are you doing here? You're supposed to be in your chambers. I'm bored in my chambers. She walked forward confidently, ignoring the stunned looks from the assembled warriors. And I heard you're testing someone's loyalty. This doesn't concern you. It concerns my brother, which means it concerns me. She stopped beside me, looking me up and down. So, this is Kael's mate? The one everyone's suspicious about? Luna, Kael said warningly. She ignored him. I have a better test than a blood oath, Alpha Maddox. Maddox's eyebrows rose. Is that so? Yes, you want to know if she's loyal? If she's really just a packless wolf looking for belonging? Luna smiled, sharp and cunning. Make her fight in the arena, public combat. Let her prove her worth where everyone can see it. Fighting proves strength, not loyalty, Voss said. It proves she's willing to risk herself for the pack, to fight for Bloodfang's honor. Luna turned to Maddox. And it's better entertainment than a blood oath ceremony. The wolves will love it. Maddox considered this, his amber eyes calculating. Interesting proposal. Who would she fight? Anyone who volunteers. Let the warriors challenge her. If she survives 3 matches, she's proven herself. And if she doesn't survive? Luna shrugged. Then she was never strong enough to be second anyway. The casual cruelty in her voice was chilling. Through the bond, I understood. Luna was giving me an out. Trading a magically binding oath for physical danger. It was still a death trap. But it was a trap I might survive. Maddox smiled slowly. I like it. Arena combat. 3 matches, tomorrow at sunset. He looked at me. What do you say, Sarah? Ready to fight for your place? I met his eyes. Yes, Alpha. I'll fight. Excellent. He returned to his throne. Dismissed. All of you. I expect quite a show tomorrow evening. We were escorted out, Luna walking beside us. The moment we were out of earshot of the throne room, Kael grabbed his sister's arm. What were you thinking? He hissed. Arena combat? She could be killed. Better than a blood oath that would make the mission impossible, Luna whispered back. I'm giving her a chance. Use it. Luna's right, I said quietly. This is better. How is potentially dying in combat better? Because I can control a fight. I can't control an oath's magic. I touched his arm. Trust me. I've been training for 3 years. I can do this. Against Bloodfang warriors? Seasoned fighters? Against anyone. I squeezed his arm. I'm stronger than you think, Kael. Time to prove it. Through the bond, I felt his terror, his pride, his desperate wish that there was another way. But there wasn't. Tomorrow, I would step into the arena and fight for my life, and I would win. Because failure meant exposure, torture, death, and I hadn't survived 3 years of hiding just to die now. Not when I was so close to destroying the wolf who'd stolen everything from me. Chapter 10. Blood and Truth. The arena was packed. Word had spread through the fortress like wildfire. Kael's mysterious mate would fight 3 matches to prove her worth. Every warrior in the territory wanted to see if the small female could actually survive. I stood in the fighter's preparation chamber, wrapping my hands, trying to steady my breathing. Kael paced behind me like a caged wolf. You can still back out. Tell Maddox you refuse. We'll find another way. There is no other way. I finished with my left hand, started on my right. This is it. This is the moment. 3 fights, Sarah, back to back. No rest between them. Even if you win the first 2. I'll win all 3. He stopped pacing. Through the bond, I felt his warring emotions, pride, fear, love he wasn't ready to name. How can you be so calm? I'm not calm. I'm terrified. I met his eyes. But I'm also ready. This is what I've been training for. Not just the fighting, but... I gestured around. Being seen. Being tested. Proving I'm more than what they think. You've already proven that to me. I know. I touched his face gently. But now I need to prove it to them. A horn sounded. The first match was starting. Luna burst into the chamber, breathless. There's something you need to know. The fighters. Maddox chose them personally. My stomach dropped. Who? First match is Scar, one of Voss's best warriors. Second match is Thorn. Thorn? Kael's eyes went wide. My Thorn? He agreed to fight her? He didn't have a choice. Maddox ordered him. Luna grabbed my arm. But the third match is the problem. It's Commander Voss himself. The room went silent. Voss, the massive wolf who suspected everything, who'd been looking for an excuse to break me. That's impossible, Kael said. Commanders don't fight in public arenas. This one does. He specifically requested the honor. Luna's grip tightened. He's planning something. I don't know what, but be careful. The horn sounded again. Time to fight. I walked into the arena and the crowd roared. Hundreds of wolves packed the stands, all of them screaming for blood. Maddox sat in the royal box, Luna beside him now, her face carefully neutral. Kael stood at the edge of the fighter's pit, his hands gripping the barrier so tight his knuckles were white. My first opponent stepped into the ring. Scar was aptly named. Ritual marks covered his entire body, each one representing a kill. He was huge, experienced, and looked at me like I was already dead. The match began. He charged immediately, trying to use his size advantage. I dodged, using speed and agility, landing quick strikes to vulnerable points. But he was good. Really good. He adapted fast, cutting off my escape routes, hurting me toward the arena walls. His fist connected with my ribs. Pain exploded. I tasted blood. The crowd screamed approval. I shifted partially. Just my hands, claws extending. Not my full wolf. Couldn't reveal how fast or strong my wolf actually was. We traded blows, brutal and vicious. My smaller size meant every hit I took did more damage, but it also meant I was harder to hit. I saw my opening. He overextended on a punch. I ducked under, drove my claws into his armpit where the nerves clustered, and swept his legs. He went down hard. I was on him instantly, claws at his throat. "Yield!" I snarled. He stared up at me, stunned, then slowly raised his hand in submission. The crowd went wild. I helped him up, tradition, and he actually smiled. "Damn, girl, you're fast." "Thanks." "Good luck with the next two. You'll need it." He left the arena. I had maybe 30 seconds before the next match. Thorn entered, his scarred face apologetic. "I'm sorry," he said quietly. "I have to make this look real." "I know. Do your worst." He did. Thorn was brutal, vicious, using every dirty trick he knew. We fought for what felt like hours, but was probably only minutes. He was stronger, more experienced, trained by Kael himself. But I was desperate. I took hits that should have dropped me, kept moving through pain that screamed at me to stay down, used every ounce of speed and cunning I had. Finally, I managed to get behind him, lock my arm around his throat in a chokehold. "Yield," I whispered. "Make me." I squeezed harder, not enough to permanently damage, but enough to cut off blood flow. His vision would be graying out. 10 seconds. 20. His hand tapped my arm 3 times. Submission. I released him immediately. He staggered away, gasping. Through the bond, I felt Kael's pride and terror in equal measure. Through my own exhausted haze, I felt something else. I was hurt. Badly. Cracked ribs for sure, possibly internal bleeding. One more fight. Against Commander Voss. He entered the arena, and the crowd's roar became deafening. This was what they'd been waiting for. Voss circled me slowly. "Impressive, Sarah. You're better than you look." "Thanks. But here's my problem." He stopped circling. "You're too good. Too well trained. That's not 3 years of survival training. That's formal education. Royal education." My blood turned to ice. "I don't know what you mean." "Yes, you do." He moved faster than something his size should be able to, catching my wrist. "And I'm going to prove it." He twisted, forcing me to shift or have my arm broken. I shifted, full wolf form, no choice. And that's when he saw it. My winter fog coat. Smaller than common wolves, yes. But the way I moved, the power in my form. Unmistakably royal bloodline. Voss shifted too, his massive gray wolf towering over mine. But he didn't attack. Instead, he threw back his head and howled. The signal. Guards flooded the arena from the hidden entrances. Silver nets, silver chains, prepared specifically for capturing a dangerous wolf. I tried to run. Made it 3 steps before the net hit me, silver burning my fur, my skin, agony, like fire in my veins. I shifted back to human, screaming as the silver contacted bare skin. Through the bond, I felt Kael's rage, heard him roaring, trying to get into the arena. Heard Luna screaming. Maddox descended from the royal box, his face a mask of cold triumph. "Well, well," he said, standing over me. "Commander Voss was right to be suspicious." He crouched down, gripping my hair and forcing my head up. "Hello, Princess Seraphina. Did you really think you could hide from me forever?" The crowd had gone deathly silent. "I don't know what you're talking about." "Don't lie, not anymore." He inhaled deeply. "Under Kael's mark, under all the dirt and disguise. I smell it. Royal blood, Silvercrest blood." His smile was vicious. "The last heir. Thought to be dead for 3 years. And here you are, walking right into my fortress." Let her go, Kael's voice raw with fury. Ah, yes, the loyal rogue Alpha. Maddox stood, still holding my hair. Tell me, Kael, did you know who she was? Is that why you marked her? Through the bond, I begged him. Deny it. Save yourself. Luna needs you. But Kael's pale eyes met mine across the arena, and I felt his decision through the bond before he spoke. Yes, he said clearly. I knew. We planned this together, to infiltrate your pack, to expose you for the murderer you are. Maddox laughed. How noble, how stupid. He released my hair, stood. Guards, take them both. The female goes to the high tower. I have plans for her. The male goes to the dungeons. And bring me his sister, too. Can't have loose ends. No! I struggled against the silver net. Luna had nothing to do with this. Leave her alone. I'll decide what to do with her. Maddox looked down at me with cold satisfaction. As for you, Princess, you're going to be very useful. In 6 weeks at the summit, I'll announce our mate bond. Forced, yes, but magical nonetheless. Your royal blood will legitimize my rule, and there's nothing you can do to stop it. I'll die first. That's not an option. You'll live. You'll bond. You'll give me heirs. His eyes glittered. And then, maybe, I'll let you die. They dragged me away, the silver burning, Kael's anguish echoing through the bond. I'd failed. Failed the mission. Failed Kael. Failed Luna. Failed my family. As they hauled me toward the tower, I caught one last glimpse of Kael being dragged toward the dungeons, his eyes locked on mine. Through the bond, his message was clear. This isn't over. Don't give up. But locked in the high tower, scheduled to be forcibly mated to my family's murderer? How could this be anything but over? Chapter 11. The Tower. They threw me into the highest room of the eastern tower and sealed the door with silver-reinforced locks. The chamber was luxurious. Thick carpets, a massive bed, windows overlooking the mountains. A gilded cage. My skin still burned from the silver net. My ribs screamed with every breath, but physical pain was nothing compared to the despair crushing my chest. I'd failed. 3 years of planning, destroyed in one moment. Kael was in the dungeons. Luna was goddess knows where. And in 6 weeks, Maddox would force a mate bond that would trap me forever. I collapsed against the wall, letting the tears finally come. Through the bond, miraculously still intact, I felt Kael's presence. Distant, muted by whatever magic or silver they'd used on him. But there, alive. Hurting, but alive. I clung to that feeling like a lifeline. Hours passed. The sun set. Guards brought food I couldn't eat. Water I forced down despite my nausea. Then, as full dark settled, I heard a soft scraping at the window. I stood quickly, ignoring my protesting ribs. The window was too high for anyone to climb. We were 50 feet up a sheer wall. Unless you were a very determined teenage girl with climbing equipment. Luna's face appeared at the window, grinning fiercely. Miss me? Luna! I rushed over, helping her climb through. How did you? What are you? They'll kill you if they find you here. They have to catch me first. She pulled off her climbing harness, breathing hard. And I'm very good at not being caught. You should be hiding, escaping, getting as far from here as possible. Without my brother? Not happening. She grabbed my shoulders. Listen, we don't have much time. The guards change in 20 minutes. I can get you out. Out? Luna, the door is sealed with silver. I'm not going through the door. She moved to the window, pulling out a length of rope. We're going down. Down 50 feet of sheer wall? It's only 43 feet. I measured. She tied the rope to the bed frame, testing its strength. I've been planning escape routes from this fortress for 2 years. Every tower, every window, every weak point. Her silver eyes blazed with determination. I told you, I'm not just sitting around helplessly. Through the bond, I felt a flutter of hope. Kyle's hope, somehow sensing what was happening. "Even if we get down," I said, "even if we get past the guards, Kael is in the dungeons. We can't leave without him." "I know where the dungeons are. I know which guards are on duty. I know exactly how to get him out." Luna finished securing the rope. "But I need you. I can't fight warriors. You can." "I'm half dead, Luna. I took brutal hits in those fights. You're also royal bloodline. You heal faster than anyone here." She looked at me seriously. "I need to know. Can you fight? Even injured, can you take down guards long enough for us to free Kael?" I thought about my training, about 3 years of preparing for exactly this kind of desperate situation. About my family, murdered in their own home. About Kael, suffering in a dungeon because he'd chosen to protect me. "Yes," I said. "I can fight." "Good." Luna handed me a knife she'd stolen from somewhere, because we're about to start a prison break. The climb down was terrifying. My injured ribs screamed with every movement. My hands, still raw from the silver burns, bled as I gripped the rope. But Luna talked me through it, calm and confident, like she'd done this 100 times. Maybe she had. We reached the ground and immediately pressed against the tower wall, hidden in shadows. "Guards patrol every 5 minutes," Luna whispered. "We move between patrols. Stay close. Stay silent." She led me through the fortress with supernatural confidence, avoiding guards, taking passages I didn't even know existed. Every time I started to question her knowledge, I remembered. She'd had 2 years to map every inch of this place. We reached the dungeons through a servant's entrance. 2 guards stood at the main door. "Can you take them?" Luna whispered. I studied them, both armed, both alert, but also bored, not expecting an attack. "Yes, but it won't be quiet. Doesn't need to be. Once you start, I run to Kael's cell and get him out. The noise will draw more guards. You hold them off as long as you can. Luna, that's suicide. It's the only way." She squeezed my hand. "Trust me, and trust my brother. He's not helpless down there." Before I could argue, she shoved me toward the guards. No choice now. I stepped into the torchlight, letting them see me. "Hey!" one shouted. "You, the prisoner. How did you—" I was on him before he finished, the knife Luna gave me finding the gap in his armor. He went down choking. The second guard drew his sword. I shifted partially, just enough for claws and enhanced speed, and we fought. He was good, trained, but I was desperate and enhanced by royal blood. I disarmed him, knocked him unconscious, and grabbed his keys. Alarm bells started ringing throughout the fortress. "Go!" I shouted to Luna. She ran into the dungeons. I positioned myself at the entrance, preparing for the onslaught. Warriors came in waves. I fought like something possessed, using the narrow corridor to my advantage, preventing them from surrounding me. Every hit I took made my vision blur, but I kept fighting. Had to buy Luna and Kael time. Through the bond, I felt Kael wake fully. Felt his confusion, then his rage when he realized what was happening. Then I felt him break free. A roar echoed from deep in the dungeons. Not human, not quite wolf. Pure alpha fury. The warriors attacking me hesitated. Then Kael emerged from the darkness. He was magnificent and terrifying. Partially shifted, covered in blood, some his, most not, his pale eyes burning gold with protective rage. He saw me bleeding and barely standing, holding off a dozen warriors alone. His roar shook the stones. He tore through the warriors like they were paper. No mercy, no hesitation. Every wolf who dared attack his mate met swift, brutal justice. Within minutes, the corridor was clear. Bodies everywhere, most unconscious. Some very dead. Kael pulled me into his arms, his hands frantically checking my injuries. "You insane, brilliant, stupid wolf. What were you thinking?" "I was thinking I'm not leaving you to rot in a dungeon. You should have run, should have saved yourself." "Not without you. Never without you." Luna appeared slightly sheepish. "So, good news. I freed Kael. Bad news. The entire fortress knows we're escaping now. Then we don't run, Kael said, his voice hard. We finish this. Finish what? I asked. What we came here to do. His eyes met mine. Kill Maddox. Take back your throne. We're not getting another chance. Kael, there are hundreds of warriors. And we have something they don't. He gestured around. The other prisoners. Luna, how many wolves are down here? At least 40. All locked up for various crimes against Maddox. Most of them would love a chance at revenge. Then we give them that chance. Kael looked at me. You're the rightful heir, the true alpha of these territories. If you reveal yourself, if you call them to fight for you, they might not follow me. They don't know me. They know Maddox is a tyrant. They know he stole the throne through murder. Kael's hands framed my face. Give them a choice. Give them hope. That's all they need. He was right. This was the moment. Fight or die. Win or lose. But at least we'd go down fighting. Open the cells, I said. All of them. Luna and Kael worked quickly, unlocking every cell. Wolves emerged, beaten, starved, some barely able to stand. But all of them angry. I climbed onto a stone outcropping so they could all see me. My name is Seraphina Silvercrest, I said, my voice carrying through the dungeon. Daughter of the High Moon Pack. Rightful heir to these territories. Murmurs rippled through the crowd. Disbelief, hope, confusion. 3 years ago, Maddox Bloodfang murdered my family and stole the throne. He's ruled through fear and violence ever since. I met their eyes, one by one. I came here to take back what he stole, to restore justice to these territories, to give you all a choice. What choice? Someone called out. Fight with me. Tonight, storm the fortress. Face Maddox and show him that tyranny doesn't last forever. I raised my voice. I won't lie to you. Many of us will die. The odds are against us. But if we win, if we succeed, I promise you this. I will rule with honor. I will protect the weak. I will never become what he is. Silence. Then a scarred female stepped forward. I'll fight. My brother died under Maddox's orders. I want justice. I'll fight, another wolf said. Then another. And another. Within minutes, all 40 prisoners had pledged themselves. 40 wolves against hundreds. But 40 wolves with nothing to lose, and everything to fight for. Kael moved to my side. You're a natural queen, he murmured. They believe in you. I hope I'm worth believing in. You are. He kissed me, quick and fierce. Now let's go kill a tyrant. We armed ourselves with weapons from the fallen guards. Then, with me at the front and Kael at my side, we marched out of the dungeons. Time to take back my throne. Or die trying. Chapter 12. The Uprising. The fortress erupted into chaos. We burst from the dungeons like a tidal wave of fury, 40 freed prisoners fighting with the desperation of wolves who had nothing left to lose. Bloodfang warriors scrambled to respond, but we had surprise on our side. And rage. Years of rage. I fought at the front, my winter wolf finally unleashed at full strength. No more hiding, no more pretending to be weak. I was royal bloodline. Ancient magic sang in my veins, and I was done holding back. A warrior twice my size charged. I dodged, raked my claws across his throat, moved to the next target before he hit the ground. Beside me, Kael fought like the ruthless alpha he was, protecting my flank, taking down any wolf who got too close. Through the bond, I felt his battle focus, his determination, his fierce pride in fighting beside me. The throne room, I shouted over the sounds of combat. We have to reach Maddox! Half the fortress is between us and there, Kael growled, snapping a warrior's arm. Then we go through them. Luna appeared from nowhere, bloodied but grinning. The prisoners are spreading word through the fortress. Some of the warriors are switching sides. What? I dispatched another attacker. Why? Because they're seeing you fight. They're seeing royal bloodline in action. They're remembering what this territory used to be before Maddox. Her silver eyes gleamed. You're inspiring a rebellion, Sarah. As if to prove her point, 3 Bloodfang warriors broke ranks and joined our side. For the true Alpha, one shouted. For Silvercrest. The cry was taken up by others. More warriors defected, until our force of 40 had swelled to nearly 100. But Maddox's loyal guards still outnumbered us 2 to 1. Commander Voss appeared, leading a contingent of elite warriors. His gray eyes found me across the battlefield. Impressive, princess, he called, but futile. Surrender now, and I'll make your death quick. Not happening. I shifted to human form, standing tall despite my injuries. You have a choice, Commander. Keep serving a tyrant, or stand aside and let justice be done. Maddox is the rightful Alpha. Maddox is a murderer. My voice rang out, carrying to every wolf in hearing distance. He slaughtered the royal family in cold blood. He took power through treachery, not strength. He rules through fear, not honor. I stepped forward, and wolves on both sides stopped fighting to listen. I am Seraphina Silvercrest, daughter of Alpha Marcus and Luna Alara, last surviving heir of the High Moon bloodline, and I challenge Maddox Bloodfang for leadership of these territories. The fortress went deadly silent. An Alpha challenge, the most sacred binding ritual in wolf law. Combat to the death. Winner takes all. She has the right, someone murmured. Then louder, she has the right. The cry spread. Even Maddox's warriors couldn't deny it. Bloodline challenge was absolute law. Commander Voss's expression shifted. Not to our side, not quite, but to something like respect. Very well, he said. I will escort you to the throne room. Alpha Maddox must answer the challenge. We moved through the fortress, an uneasy truce settling. Warriors from both sides formed a corridor, watching as I walked toward my fate. Kael stayed at my side, his hand finding mine. You don't have to do this, he said quietly. We can still fight our way out. No, this is how it has to end. Him or me, properly. I squeezed his hand. If I die, you won't. If I die, I insisted, you get Luna out. You run. You survive. Sarah, promise me. His jaw clenched. Through the bond, I felt his desperate desire to refuse, to promise to die beside me instead. I promise, he finally said, but you're not dying. I won't allow it. Not up to you. Yes, it is. You're my mate. That means I get a say in whether you survive. His pale eyes burned into mine. So you're going to win. You're going to kill Maddox. And then you're going to be queen. Understood? Despite everything, I smiled. Understood. We reached the throne room. Maddox stood before the throne, arms crossed, looking more amused than concerned. Little Seraphina, all grown up and playing warrior. I'm not playing. I stepped into the center of the room. I challenge you, Maddox Bloodfang. Single combat. To the death. For leadership of the 6 territories. I accept. His smile was vicious. This will be fun. I've been wanting to kill you properly for 3 years. The throne room filled with wolves, warriors, freed prisoners, neutral parties drawn by the commotion. They formed a circle around us, the traditional combat ring. Kael was forced to step back, outside the circle. Luna grabbed his arm, holding him steady. It was just me and Maddox now. The wolf who'd murdered my family versus the daughter who'd survived. Before we begin, Maddox said casually, you should know. I killed your father first. Drove a silver blade through his heart while he slept. He never even woke up. Rage burned through me. He was trying to make me emotional, sloppy. Then I killed your mother. She tried to run, tried to reach you. I caught her in the east corridor. She begged me to spare you. He circled me slowly. I promised I would. Then I killed her anyway. Stop talking, I said through gritted teeth, and fight. As you wish, princess. He shifted mid-lunge, his massive dark wolf form barreling toward me. I shifted too, my smaller winter wolf darting aside. We collided in a fury of teeth and claws. Maddox was huge, powerful, experienced. Every hit he landed felt like being struck by a boulder. But I was faster, smaller. And I fought with 3 years of rage fueling every move. We tore around the throne room, destroying furniture, leaving blood trails on the stones. The watching wolves were silent, transfixed. Maddox got his jaws around my shoulder, the same shoulder Kael had marked. Pain exploded through me, and through the bond, I felt Kael's answering agony. I twisted, accepting the damage to my shoulder, to rake my claws across Maddox's exposed belly. He released me with a yelp. We separated, both bleeding heavily now. Maddox shifted to human form, panting. You're better than expected, but not good enough. He attacked again, but this time with a silver dagger he'd hidden. Silver. Against sacred challenge law. The crowd gasped. Using weapons in an alpha challenge was forbidden. But Maddox didn't care about rules. Never had. The dagger slashed toward my throat. I barely dodged, felt it graze my collarbone. Silver fire burned through me. That's cheating, someone shouted. There are no rules in real combat, Maddox snarled. Only winners and losers. He came at me again, dagger flashing. I was tiring, weakening from blood loss and silver poisoning. Couldn't shift. Couldn't fight him hand to hand while he had silver. Through the bond, I felt Kael's desperation. His need to interfere, to save me, held back only by Luna's grip and his promise. Maddox smiled, sensing victory. Any last words, princess? I looked around the throne room, at the wolves watching, at warriors who'd served Maddox out of fear, at Luna, tears streaming down her face, at Kael, his pale eyes burning with helpless rage. This was it. The moment everything came down to. Win or die. And suddenly, I knew what to do. Yes, I said. I have last words. I stopped running, stopped dodging. Let Maddox approach with his silver dagger raised. Let him get close enough to strike. Then I did something he never expected. I shifted partially, just my hand, and caught the dagger blade in my palm. Silver burned through my flesh, agony like nothing I'd ever felt. But I held on, keeping the blade trapped. What are you? Maddox started. With my other hand I shifted fully to claws and drove them through his chest, through his ribs, around his heart. His eyes went wide with shock. These are my last words, I whispered, my hands still burning with silver fire. You don't deserve this throne. You never did. I squeezed. His heart burst in my grip. Maddox collapsed, dead before he hit the ground. I released the dagger, my burned hand a ruined mess of char and blood. I shifted back to human, swaying on my feet. The throne room was absolutely silent. Then someone started clapping. One wolf, then another. Then the entire room erupted in cheers. Silvercrest! For Silvercrest! For the true alpha! I looked at my destroyed hand, at Maddox's body, at the throne that was finally, rightfully mine. Then my legs gave out. Kael caught me before I hit the ground, pulling me into his arms. I've got you. I've got you. Did we win? I asked, vision blurring. We won. His voice was thick with emotion. You won, my queen. You won. The last thing I heard before darkness claimed me was the sound of wolves chanting my name. Seraphina. 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 I'd done it, taken back my throne, avenged my family. Survived. Epilogue. 6 weeks later. I stood on the balcony of the restored throne room, watching the sun rise over territories finally at peace. My hand was healed, mostly. Silver scarring would never fully fade, but Zara had worked miracles. I could use it, fight with it, hold things without pain. It served as a reminder of what I'd sacrificed, what I'd won. Behind me, I heard footsteps, knew without turning who it was. "You're up early," Kael said, moving to stand beside me. "Couldn't sleep, too much to do." "The summit preparations are handled. Luna's managing the whole thing like she was born to it." I smiled. Luna had taken to her role as royal advisor with terrifying efficiency. At 16, she was already more politically savvy than wolves twice her age. "Still," I said, "it's a lot. Hosting all the alphas, formally claiming the throne, establishing new treaties, and bonding with your mate," Kael added quietly. I turned to look at him. 6 weeks since the uprising. 6 weeks of rebuilding, healing, establishing my rule. 6 weeks of dancing around what the bond between us actually meant. "Kael, I know. You're queen now. You need an appropriate mate. Someone with proper bloodline, political connections." "I need you," I interrupted. "That's what I need." He stared at me. "Sarah? The bond between us, it was supposed to be temporary. Fake. A convenient cover." I took his hand. Not my scarred one, but my left. "But it's not fake anymore. It hasn't been for a long time. You're queen. I'm a rogue alpha with no pack, no title, no... You're the wolf who helped me take back my throne, who fought beside me, who believed in me when I didn't believe in myself." I stepped closer. "You're my mate, Kael. Actually, truly, if you'll have me." His eyes searched mine. "You're sure? Because once we complete the bond properly, once we make it official before the realm, I'm sure." I touched his face. "I love you. Have for weeks now. Probably since the moment you marked me and I felt your loneliness through the bond." "I love you, too," he said roughly. "Have since you walked into that tavern and tried to convince me you were nothing special." "So that's settled then." "What's settled?" "At the summit, when all the alphas are gathered, I'm going to formally announce you as my chosen mate, my co-ruler, my king." "King?" He looked genuinely shocked. "Sarah, I'm not..." "You're exactly what this realm needs. A wolf who rose from nothing, who knows what it's like to struggle, to survive, to fight for everything you have." I smiled. "Besides, the council already approved. Luna threatened them." He laughed, the sound warm and genuine. "Your sister is terrifying." "Our sister," I corrected. "Once we're bonded, she's your sister by law, and mine by choice." "Our sister," he agreed softly. Then he kissed me, deep and claiming and full of promise. When we broke apart, he pressed his forehead to mine. "Are you ready for this? Being queen, ruling territories, dealing with politics and alphas and everything that comes with it?" I thought about my family, about 3 years of hiding, of being invisible, of preparing for exactly this moment. "Yes," I said. "I'm ready." "Good." He took my hand. "Because the alphas are starting to arrive, and your council wants to discuss treaty modifications, and Luna says you need to approve the menu for the summit feast." "Of course she does." We walked back inside together, ready to face whatever came next. I'd been invisible for 3 years, disguised as someone I wasn't, hiding from a throne that should have been mine. But I wasn't hiding anymore. I was Seraphina Silvercrest, queen of the 6 territories, royal bloodline and proud of it. And beside me walked Kael Nightshade, the rogue alpha who'd helped me find my way home, my mate, my love, my king. Together we would rebuild what Maddox had destroyed. Together we would rule with honor. Together we would prove that even broken things could be made whole again. The summit would begin at sunset. The alphas would pledge their loyalty. The territories would finally unite under proper leadership. But for now, in this moment, I stood with my mate and watched the sunrise. And I was finally, truly home. The end.